Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. This will be a quick Diag. We're sitting in a 2011 Toyota Sienna with no heat. We do have a code in the air conditioning control module. Let me show you what that is real quick. The HVAC control module is a B1446 air mix damper control servo motor circuit. The air mix damper is a flap or a door that moves to adjust the temperature, either hotter or colder. And how that door moves is by a little motor, and it'll move it to the left or to the right. So this code, the B1446, is saying that there's a fault with the motor or its wiring. So let me show you some live data we can look at real quick to confirm whether that motor is turning or not. We're gonna read the data stream. We want air mix servo actual, and D for driver, P for passenger, R for rear. And then we want the air mix servo target. So we have the actual, what it currently is, and the target, what the computer is telling it to be. And then we want the set temperature driver side. We'll hit OK. So we are at max hot. The target is 103, and the air mix servo actual is 250. So let me turn this to max cold. So max cold, our target changed to 5, but our air mix servo did not change. It's still at 250. Let me turn the temperature up just a smidge, 65 degrees. Now we're at 91, no change. 94, no change. 96, 98, no change. And then max 103, no change. So this confirms that our servo is not moving. Let's go under the dash on the driver's side by the gas pedal and get a visual on that motor. Right there is our motor. You see that big gear set? As I turn the knob to hot, that should move. Or from hot to cold, it should move in the other direction. And it's not moving at all. There should be 3 wires going into that electrical connector. We have a power, that's gonna be our red wire. We have a ground, that's our black wire, and a communication wire, that's blue. We wanna check each of those wires. So first we're gonna start with our power, because if the motor doesn't have power, it's not gonna move at all. The easiest way for me to get power is with the piercing probe. All right, we are attached to power with our red lead, and ground with our black lead. Let's turn it on. It'll auto range 14 volts. The car is running, so 14 volts is perfect battery voltage. Good, we have power. Let's check our ground. So now our red wire here is hooked to the black wire on the motor, and then our black wire is still hooked up to a ground. We have 0 volts. If you get 0.01 or a really small millivolt number, that's okay. But we're looking at 0 here, so we got a good solid ground. Now let's check our signal. Now to check our communication, we're using an oscilloscope. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. Go ahead and turn it on. So we have it set to 2 volts per division. It really doesn't matter the time base. All we're looking for is a square wave. That lets us know that there is communication happening. So that's it. That checks off our 3. We have power, we have ground, and we have communication. If you don't have an oscilloscope, this is what the voltmeter shows hooked up to that communication line. It's bouncing around between 2.5 and 3 volts. This is not as accurate as a scope, but it is giving us some sort of reading that we can look at. All right, got the old one out, put the new one in. There's just 2 screws. They're Phillips, one in this corner, one in that corner, and it pops right out, easy peasy. And then this gear is keyed. There's a little fat gear right here. That tooth lines up with a notch on the other gear on the box. Then you bolt it back up and you're good to go. There's no initialization or anything like that that needs to take place. Now let's look at some scan data. We have it set to max cold. Our target is 5, our actual is 5. As we change the temperature, we want to see our target will move and our actual adjust to match. So let's see that. Due to 67 degrees, you can see our target move to 94 and our actual is now moving to match. So that's that little gear on it moving to match our target. Let's go up a little more. See, as I move it, it moves to match. Back down, and this thing's moving all the way back down. We can also feel the heat coming from here. You can feel the change. You can hear the change. Before we weren't getting any of that. All right, there you go. Diagnosis confirmed and repair complete. We did just use one special tool, an oscilloscope, but it might not be necessary. You're looking for power, ground, and a signal. If you have that little bit of voltage on a voltmeter coming out of that signal wire, there's a good chance that you do have a signal, even though you can't see it like we could on the scope. It could still be there. So if you have power, signal, ground, but that motor's not moving, then it's a good bet that just by replacing that motor, you can have heat back. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this was helpful. Like, subscribe. See you on the next one.